And welcome back to The Wrap. Well, before we go into our next segment, we promised we'd read some of your comments on the air, particularly when they attack Jane for no apparent reason. So let's do this.
Handle it.
This comes from Jackie. She has a Yahoo address we will not give out on the air. She says,
go ahead.
Jane needs to get off Hillary's skirt tail, all because she'll be the, quote, first female president. We as Americans need a leader who will stand their ground against our enemies, cut back on the government that seems only to be getting larger, and start making America the best nation again by bringing companies back home. Regulate Wall Street before they destroy us all with another depression. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 exclamation points.
Wow.
Your response.
She is all over the map. Is it a she or is it a he?
Yeah.
Jackie.
Yeah, she was
No,
here,
listen,
here.
I think, and Jackie, if you're listening, I think that we have to realize that women are often attacked no matter what they do. And I think all of these relentless attacks on Hillary are going to backfire because 50% of the population are women. Women like me who have experienced the same thing. That if you talk loud, you're a B word, but if you speak softly, you're a wimp. And there's this sort of indefinable place in the middle, which usually is 34, 24, 34, if you know what I mean. That's the perfect place to be as a woman.
That's the combination of my luggage.
Be hot, wear high heels, have a short skirt and a perfect body, and then you sound just the way you're supposed to sound.
Yeah, I'm going to stand up for Jane here. I think that's a little bit sexist to presume that she's supportive of Hillary's position because she's a woman. I don't think that's true.
Interesting.
Thank you.
She's voting for Bernie Sanders anyway. It doesn't matter. All right, very good. Let's get to our actual segment. But keep your comments coming, please. Advocates of the Second Amendment are now trying to piggyback on last month's Supreme Court ruling to legalize gay marriage in all 50 states, saying that the ruling is a victory for them as well. Pro-gun groups argue that the ruling could roughly trickle down to looser restrictions for concealed carry licenses as well. Bob Owens, he's the editor of BearingArms.com, wrote an article the same day as the ruling that said, and we quote, using the same due process clause argument as the Supreme Court just applied to gay marriage, my concealed carry permit must now be recognized as valid in all 50 states and the District of Columbia. Rick, this seems like a stretch to try to use this one law in order to justify another. You have a law degree, you love this stuff. Where do you stand?
This is a very simple case of somebody who doesn't understand the difference of federal jurisdiction and state jurisdiction. You ever notice that guns, by and large, are regulated by the states? There's a reason for that. It falls within the state's purview of health, welfare, and safety. So I don't think this is going to apply in any way, shape, or form. I mean, your state may do that what you want them to do, but nah, not going to work that way. Sorry, man.
Mr. Rothman?
Well, I'm not an attorney. I can't speak to the legal merits of that argument. However, there is something to be said for the political argument, which suggests that all laws across all states should be accepted. And when you look back at the Heller case, Heller versus the District of Columbia, we really are talking about a federal jurisdiction that was given over to the states, and the Supreme Court said that this was just unacceptable, unconstitutional. There are a lot of court pending challenges to concealed carry permit.
Two quick distinctions. One, he's saying that the basis for it is coming out of the way that the Supreme Court decided the gay marriage case. There's just no connection to it. Two, the cases that the Supreme Court's going to take on are questions of do restrictions interfere with Second Amendment rights. That too is a different argument than saying, well, wait a minute, now you're obligated to lessen or loosen the open carry permits. It's just a whole separate issue.
For a gun owner who lives in Long Island and works in New York City and has a concealed carry permit, what they have to do with their gun, going from one place to the next, getting the ammo out, putting it in the case, putting it in the trunk, getting back into the city, it is really onerous and it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. And if that's challenged in court, I think there's a whole lot of merit to it.
I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm simply saying that his analysis of how they could get to that on a federal level just doesn't hold up. I'm not saying that you couldn't argue to change that within the state or however, but it just doesn't hold up in terms of what he's suggesting.
I think equal protection of the law means equal right to not get killed by somebody else's firearm. Maybe you could twist it.
That one's not going to hold up either, I'm afraid.
Well, the Supreme Court hasn't taken up a single case on carry permits. But even the National Rifle Association, the NRA, thinks this line of thinking is a bit off, saying, we strongly advise concealed carry license holders not to assume Obergefell, is that the case that was ultimately decided in the Supreme Court on same-sex?
That's the case, yeah.
Provided them with the legal basis they need to carry without an in-state license in strongly anti-gun states. So what do you make
You
of
mean
this
I
argument?
agree with the NRA?
Yes, you do.
Good Lord.
That's a shocker.
It's time to go home.
Well, I'd like to make a point where we're talking about the cyber security, and the right to bear arms was all about militias being able to defend against a totalitarian state. And what we're starting to realize now is that guns aren't going to be the means of defense. It's all going to happen on these things, and that's where we really have to realize that the founding fathers couldn't have predicted our society today.
I am not a gun guy by any stretch of the imagination. I've done the research. The argument doesn't work.
I'll get your opinion on this when we get back, unfortunately. So what do you think of these pro-gun advocates? Are they right? Are they wrong? Go to newsmaxtv.com/comments and share your opinions. Obviously, we'll share them on the air, especially if they're against Rick in any capacity. More after the break. Yes, this is the Daily Wrap. Do not go anywhere.